luxury, fully self-contained accommodation, George, and Heidi from Belgium has actually stayed here, so she's probably reminiscing just how lovely it was. She was actually standing where that photograph was taken from that particular two-bedroom style accommodation, looking out over the Malakuta Inlet. So it really is a gorgeous destination, and when you wake up in the morning, that's what greets you first thing, George.
In the wild, we love that. It certainly is. So today we will focus on just this small patch.
That's right. Everyone knows I can talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles, so I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to move on and let our next guest come along as we do a special show right from this part of the beautiful lakes area in East Gippsland, George.
Let's have a look.
So I think we should introduce someone, shouldn't we?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
Alison Conroy, yes, from Destination Gippsland. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Paul. Let's thank for Mr. Sydney Melbourne Touring. Off you go. It's
I'll
live
slip out
TV.
here and pass on to Alison.
Yes, we're going across the camera, and Alison. How are we, Alison?
Hi, George.
Welcome.
I'm really well, thank you.
How exciting is this Destination Gippsland? You're the marketing manager
I
from
am.
Destination Gippsland. So tell Alison, what is Destination Gippsland? What is your favourite place?
Oh, well, definitely the Gippsland Lakes. It's a jewel in our crown. Ask me next week and I'll say Wilson's Prom.
Yeah.
But right now, it's obviously the Gippsland Lakes is just the most amazing place to spend the day. As you saw from the video footage, we just had a marvellous day out on the water with Kim and Steve.
Yeah, and how do you get to Gippsland?
Well, you take the when you look at that map, you take that big thick line through the middle, and obviously Paul's already mentioned that you head up to Walhalla en route. But the Gippsland Lakes region is that area out to the east with the where you can see the sort of lots of water. That's probably a good way to describe it. And you come out here and en route we like to advise people that they should veer off the highway whenever they can, take in some of the local villages and the wineries, because that's really quintessential Australia. That is the Australian landscape. Veer off the highway whenever they can, take in some of the local villages and the wineries,
because that's so special.
Well, obviously the lakes themselves, they are the largest inland waterway in the southern hemisphere, meaning primarily that they're quite protected. So when guests come out here, when visitors come out here, even if they've never stood on a paddleboard or they've never been in a kayak or sailed a boat, they have the opportunity to do all those things and really learn from the ground up. And if they're experienced, all the better. They can just get out there and enjoy it and try and find some of our local dolphins, which are prolific in the lakes.
Just spectacular.
Yes, you can see some of those images there of what there is to do on the lakes. Great boating. Obviously, I mentioned kayaking and stand-up paddleboarding. Just a really beautiful place to just get out there and enjoy Mother Nature.
It's just so quiet, and there's not many tourists around, and that's what and especially our clients, our European clients watching now, they will love that to sell that. Yeah.
Absolutely. You can walk on a 90-mile beach and see so few other people there that you feel like you've got the whole place to yourself, and that's what we think is absolutely what makes this place special.
It is. And then what else is there to do off the water?
There's lots and lots of off-water activities for those that aren't as into water. So there's a couple of bike tour operators out here that we work with who are trade ready, and they take people on from a 1-day to a 5-day bike ride around the region, just really taking in the beautiful places to visit. On that, you can actually go up to Buchan Caves, which is a town not very far from here called Buchan, and the limestone formations there are over 400 million years old. It's a really beautiful reserve. Lots of great bushwalks up at Buchan with kangaroos hopping around, so it's a really great local experience. Of course, there's Raymond Island, which we're very famous for, but I'm going to leave that for Paul to talk more about. And as you head further north, Croajingalong National Park with the sand dunes that you saw there, and Point Hicks Lighthouse, just a really beautiful place to get out there amongst it.
Looks great. Look at that.
Yeah,
it's fantastic, and you feel like you're definitely in a different world.
Oh,
when
yeah,
you're down here, and it's really the best part of Australia.
Oh, it is. Look, nobody should be put off by the word wilderness, but that Croajingalong wilderness is so special and makes that Sydney Melbourne touring route. It's just a really special part of the drive because of the prolific wildlife, these long coastal stretches, the great bushwalking, some great peaks to climb en route.
usually say it's wilderness on steroids. And I hear there's some, apart from all the wilderness and all the wild animals, in which Paul will explain a little bit later, I hear there's some great places for food and wine, food and drinks.
Absolutely. We, as a region, are very big on our local produce. So there's obviously, being on the lakes, the seafood and the fish, fresh fish that people can enjoy are prolific, and the opportunity there to actually buy fish from the wharf. We have a number of really great restaurants as well. So Sardine Restaurant.
Oh, wow. Well, you have to have fish around here. It's full of water. Yes, yeah. Look at that.
And then, of course, there's the long paddock, which is at Lindenow nearby as well. And the long paddock is that really rustic kitchen, has that really rustic kitchen charm. So it's recently had a write-up in the New York Times. It's certainly got a great following. People come out from Melbourne just to eat there and enjoy that really good country kitchen fare. So that's the sort of food we're talking about in East Gippsland. It's just a prolific food bowl. And I've already mentioned the fish, but you can actually buy your dinner straight off the boats as they come in, and that's quite special. So if you're not into fishing yourself, and by all means you can fish in the region, of course, you can go to the fish market and buy your fish, or buy it straight off the boats when they come in, and that's another one of those elements that makes us really special. We even put our seafood on our pizzas out here, George. So yeah,
we're having pizzas as we speak. Actually,
we are.
Yeah, you
well,
saw
not quite
the
right
fireplace
now.
before. Look at this winery
and our wineries. So Lightfoot and Sons, which is the wine we're actually enjoying tonight, is one of our local wineries, and they have this incredible view across the valley there in East Gippsland, where you can stand there and enjoy your Chardonnay or your Pinot Noir, and that's what we're actually famous for, is our cool climate Pinot Noir that we develop all over Gippsland. We also have farm gates galore, actually, but this particular one is Picnic Point, so it's in Bairnsdale. You can stop in and stock up on fresh produce, and if you are crossing the border, you can take your food with you in between Victoria and New South Wales, your fresh fruit, so you can stock up on all our beautiful East Gippsland produce and keep driving.
It's fantastic, and and everything's just easy. It's easy drive. It's along the Princess Highway. Get off the Princess Highway. It's all part of the self-drive packages that we have here on Sydney Melbourne Touring. Now, there's a lot of nice accommodations at Gippsland, which is one of them is right here. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, so we're at Jetty Road Retreat, obviously, and I'm going to leave that for Kim to talk about in a minute.
Absolutely.
And I will let Paul talk about another one of our gems, which is Waverley House Cottages. But we have a number of other ones, including, so this is Meetung. So we have 3 villages on the lakes. Meetung's one of them. We have 5 knots at Meetung, which has 1, 2 and 3 bedroom apartments for guests to enjoy. And as you can see, it's right there on the water. It's got its own jetty. So it is, obviously we do a lot of things around here based around the fact that you are on the lakes. Macmillan's at Meetung has 1, 2 and 3 bedroom apartments, and really family friendly. You can see there's a kids playground there in the foreground, lots of area to run in the grass, but that actually is also jutting up against the water. You can't see that. That's that side of it. The Bellevue apartments there on the Esplanade. So again, we've got a range from 1, 2 and 3 bedrooms there for families, making it really family friendly. And that's, as I say, that one's in Lakes Entrance, so that's right on the waterfront there. And the Esplanade Hotel, so this one's more of a resort style accommodation. It has indoor and outdoor pools, it has a spa facility, it obviously has access to some really good restaurants. It's right there on the Esplanade and Lakes Entrance, so this is one for those people that really like a resort style holiday.
I tell you what, you're selling it. It's definitely Inca from Germany is definitely into this country.
Hi, Inca.
So, yes, hello, Inca. How are we? So thanks, Alison. It's so important that you guests have some great accommodation, and Paul has picked up a few nearby, but thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Here we go, Paul. You got some more information on accommodation?
One of the great things about the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive is there is no shortage of accommodation, and we've got some pretty magnificent properties along the way. One of my favourites is the Riverslea in Bairnsdale, and I've got Rachel from the Riverslea at the moment. So Rachel, how long have you been at the Riverslea?
Gosh, it's nearly 5.5 years now.
Wow.
We've moved from Meetung to Bairnsdale, about 5.5 years ago. We brought the family in with schooling and have this wonderful business now.
And tell me about the property.
So it was originally a manor house and terrace housing, and it was converted into a hotel about 1985. So a big full refurbishment was done then, and then we actually did another refurb about 3.5 years ago, so we've brought it back to life again. So the building itself is 135 years old this year.
Wow, and how many rooms do you have?
We have 22. So all en-suited rooms, and we've kept as much of the heritage furniture as we had here, but we've also brought in a bit of a modern feel as well.
One of the things that I think is also really special about the Riverslea is the catering. I mean, coming here for things like high tea and the meals and so forth. How much is the food and wine component of the property a part of the business?
Yeah, it is a big part, and we use as much local produce as possible as well. So we have a continental breakfast, which is included in all of our stays. So beautiful homemade muesli and poached fruit, and so everything we can do ourselves or buy in locally we have. Beautiful wines from the local wineries, Wyanga and Nicholson and Lightfoot's Winery. And we also have an all-day grazing menu, so people can come in at whatever time they like and have a lovely cheese and antipasto platter or a ploughman's platter with their wine or local beer, and yeah, it works really well.
So many fantastic wineries, and Rachel just mentioned Lightfoot, that's Lightfoot and Sons, and last night I had a bottle of their 2016 Pinot. It's one of the best Pinots I've had anywhere. It is an awesome wine.
It's certainly our most popular.
We were talking before we started rolling the camera on the international visitors, and you were saying some mornings you come down at breakfast and it's like pick the accent. Where are your international visitors coming from?
Look, primarily Germany and England would be the top two, but we are seeing emerging from Canada, America. Look, really all over now. Norway, we have great chats with people, to see where they've come from and, the rest of their trip around Australia. So, yeah, we love our international guests. It's a big part of the Riverslea.
Okay, well, let's talk about locations. So you're located in Bairnsdale, which is not too far from Lakes Entrance and not that far from Wilson's Promontory National Park. But say within half an hour of the Riverslea, what sorts of things can your clients do? Yeah,
probably the most popular is to go to the lakes. So we've got Lakes Entrance is just over 30-minute drive. So we always recommend that the customers get out onto the water to really get a feel of what the Gippsland Lakes and East Gippsland is about. So there's some great cruises, or you can hire a boat themselves, or paddleboarding, kayaking. There's lots of things to do on the water, and the dolphins are also a big draw card out there. Paynesville's only less than 15-minute drive, so driving to Paynesville you can catch the ferry over to Raymond Island, which is a great day out to spot the koalas, and just a lovely little island. And then a little bit longer is the Buchan Caves, but that's probably a 45-minute drive from Bairnsdale, and that's a lovely day trip as well. Great for, doesn't matter what the weather's like because it's a constant 22 degrees in the caves. So yeah, lots to see. Bairnsdale is just a really great base to go out and see all the wonderful things that the region has to offer.
Fantastic. So that's the Riverslea, one of the great accommodation properties on the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive. Thanks, Rachel.
Very welcome. Thank you.
You're watching Sydney Melbourne Touring Live, brought to you by Stephen Peppard, currently walking his dog on Phillip Island. And now it's back to George.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you very much. I'm staying, that is very funny. I'm staying here at Jetty Road Retreat, and I absolutely love it. I came here last night, and I tell you what, before I introduce our next guest, it was one of the most surreal experience. I don't think I've ever experienced something like this when I was a young kid in Central Australia, but I have never seen so many stars in the sky at once. I was just blown away. So that's just from me. So welcome to the owner of Jetty Road Retreat is Kim. Kim, how are you?
Hi George, I'm good. Thank you. Hello Europe.
And
thanks for watching.
Thank you. And Jetty Road Retreat is product ready, and it's definitely,
it is.
yeah. So if you're going to include your self-drive packages. We'll talk a little bit more with Kim, but you actually own this property with your husband Steve, who is doing the pizzas. Let's have a look at Steve. How are you going with the pizzas? All good? Okay. There. Oh, look at that. Okay, well, the pizzas are coming very soon. Sorry, guys, we're just very hungry at the moment. But about Jetty Road, Ngurna is a hidden gem of Gippsland Lake region. Where exactly are you located on the Sydney Melbourne touring route?
It's a good question because we don't feature on all the maps, George, but we are 3 and a little bit hours from east of Melbourne, and we are slap bang in the middle of Lakes Entrance and Meetung, which most of the agents will already know. So we are just 15-minute drive from Lakes Entrance, under 10 minutes from Meetung. And the great thing about our property is that we are literally overlooking the Gippsland Lake. So we have the most amazing, breathtaking views from each of our 4 2-bedroom self-contained cabins. And that is an absolute feature of our property that the European market really, really appreciate and are delighted when they arrive.
That's great. And what do most of your international tourists enjoy most about your property?
It really is the views and the bird life. So it's a little late in the night to appreciate the abundance of birds that we have here at Jetty Road Retreat. But this is an aerial view just to show you how close we are to the water. So we are literally overlooking the largest inland waterway of Australia, and we've got a private jetty there, so guests love just walking down the hill in the morning, having their breakfast on the deck, coming down, meeting the locals, having a chat about the fishing, and all from the comfort of their cabin. So there's no such thing as a bad view at Jetty Road Retreat. They've all got the most amazing views of the lake, and they're fully self-contained, so plenty of cookware. The seafood is amazing here. It's fresh from the lake, so really great experience to go and buy some seafood and come back to the cabin and just immerse yourself in that view with some beautiful local wine.
Love a good deck. Look at that. And every single one of your cabins have this.
They do. There is no such thing as a bad view. It's a question I always get asked, which one has the best? But really, they're all amazing. And, you're up in the treetops, so you've just got this elevated view of the lake to enjoy while you're here. We've got complimentary kayaks, so in the warmer months, guests can literally launch a kayak directly below where we're sitting at the moment and have a paddle out on the lakes. We've got a private jetty. They can try their luck at fishing or crabbing, and just enjoy the nature that surrounds us, literally.
You pretty much answered my next question I was going to ask. You were mentioning before about living like a local, and I was going to ask you, how do you ensure each guest has a great time at visit? You pretty much explained it. There's so much things you can do here, and you can feel part as a local. Isn't that wonderful?
It really is. Ngurna, as much as it's not well known, I guess, it's very much a hidden gem, and like all the hidden gems, it's just off the beaten track. It's literally 5 minutes off that Sydney-Melbourne coastal drive to get to us. But once you're here, you're in a very close-knit population. The locals are friendly. They love the fact that there's an international guest that's come to Ngurna. What are you doing here? What brings you here? And they will happily have a chat and engage with you and tell you where the fish are biting and where the good coffee is. And honestly, they get as much out of it as our guests, I think, just knowing that little old Ngurna's on the map for people. It's a real buzz for them to know that we are an internationally renowned destination that has so much to offer the international guests. So it's beautiful.
Oh, look at the rosellas.
There's a bird
the cockatoo. There's an abundance here. We're going to put some seeds
everywhere.
out, but we thought we don't do it this time because we got literally attacked. But you were saying that I heard a rumour that you can hire a boat without having a license.
Absolutely. So there's a number of operators in Lakes Entrance that give you access to day boat hire. So you can literally do what we did today.
Yes.
Go out on the lake for 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, whatever you like.
On your own.
On your own. No license required.
There we go.
And, they'll give you all the safety briefing. It's perfectly safe. And it's a great experience to get out on the water. And you can do that at any time of the year. It doesn't need to be the warmer months. We are known for our mild climate in East Gippsland. It's beautiful year round. If you've got calm waters, there's no barrier to getting out there on the water and experiencing what we experienced today.
That's what we experienced
today. The
birds
are here year round.
And Paul
they really are.
Enjoyed it. Look at him. Love it. Oh, well, we're going to wrap things up with Jetty Road at the moment, but definitely included in your itineraries. So thanks, Kim.
Thanks very much, George.
Thank you very much, and thank you for hosting us.
Love to welcome your guests.
Absolutely. Gippsland is so much to offer. Let's cross back to Paul and see what he's up to.
So all along the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive, there's some awesome wildlife viewing experiences, and none better than here at Raymond Island. Now, it's very easy to get over to Raymond Island because it's a ferry and the crossing distance is very short. In fact, it only takes 2 minutes to get across. Now, this is the ferry and it operates 7 days a week. There is a charge to drive over, but for foot passengers and cyclists, it's completely free. So what we recommend is to park your car on the Paynesville side and then get on the ferry as a foot passenger and come across to Raymond Island. Now remember, once you get to Raymond Island, people actually live here. So respect that and keep things nice and quiet as you walk around and view the koalas. Once you arrive on the Raymond Island side of the ferry, you see this koala information board, and they've got some guide maps here as well, and they're only $2. And all the proceeds go to support the well-being of the koalas, so make sure you donate. All right, let's go and check out the koalas on Raymond Island. So as you make your way around Raymond Island, it's very well signposted. So it's really easy to find the koalas by following the signs, just like this one. So from the ferry terminal to this part where you've got all of these beautiful trees all over the place is about 5 minutes walk, maybe 10 if you're really slow. And on the way here, we'd already counted 4 koalas. And since arriving, there's one in the tree up here, there's another one over there, and they can be anywhere between the very top of the tree or down somewhere relatively close. Like this one we saw on the way was actually crossing the road and in a bit of a hurry to get up the next tree as well. Another great thing about this part of Raymond Island is the echidnas. If you're really lucky, you just might spot one. Well, our koala viewing experience here at Raymond Island is almost done. We've been here for about half an hour and so far we've counted 9 koalas today. This is the 9th one up here, just having a little feed. So if you want to see koalas in their natural habitat, no fences, no cages, just natural koalas exactly where they live, check out Raymond Island on the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive in beautiful Gippsland, Victoria.
That's great, Paul. Raymond Island looks awesome. It's like a Jurassic Park of Australia, right there in one little island. And what we've done, guys, is we've pretty much covered a very interesting area here. We've from Bairnsdale, if you drive to Bairnsdale, Raymond Island, the lakes, Meetung, here Jetty Road, Lake Sensitive Regions, it's all together now. So it's definitely a place to put in your itineraries. Now, Paul, you've been very busy today. I believe there's another accommodation you've been seeing. Can we have a look?
Continuing to check out some of the fantastic accommodation that we have on the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive. And I've got Jan with me from Waverley House Cottages. And
Yes,
Jan,
she is.
we were trying to work out how long you've been a part of Sydney Melbourne Touring. It must be eons.
Yes, I think I must just about be one of the originals now. I think from about 2007, if
Awesome.
I was having a quick guess.
So the property is called Waverley House Cottages. Tell us about the cottages. How many do you have and what styles they have?
Right, well, we've got 6 cottages and there are 3 different types. The one we're sitting in now is a 2-bedroom cottage. There are also 1-bedroom cottages and there's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom cottage. So,
and fully self-contained?
Fully self-contained. So we're self-catering cottages. That sometimes is something I like to, reassure international guests with, because they'll sometimes come from a hotel in Melbourne and think they're getting daily service, or they'll ask me where the restaurant is. So we put in breakfast packs for guests who would request them. But otherwise, the things that excite them the most when they come in here are the lovely, spacious, homely feeling cottages, but also there's a full kitchen and a full laundry.
Let me show you the laundry. Now, having a look at this, it just looks like a cupboard, doesn't it? But as we open up these 2 doors here, voila, We have a full laundry, the washing machine, the dryer, the ironing board, it's all there. So it certainly is fully self-contained. And of course, if people don't want to self-cater, there's plenty of dining options like 5 minutes away.
Yes, lovely cafes. One lucky thing being in a tourism area is that in Lakes Entrance, the restaurants don't all close for most of the days of the week. In the quieter times, there are lots of cafes and there are a number of restaurants that stay open each night. They will look to close a bit earlier sometimes, but I can always rest assured that guests arriving even reasonably late can get a nice, hopefully seafood meal if that's their desire.
Yeah, lovely.
In our area.
Beautiful. Now,
Yes.
now Waverley House Cottages, you built them from scratch.
We did. My husband's a builder and I'm a retired art teacher, so they are the inevitable collaboration between an art teacher and a builder. Fair bit of attention to detail. We are very proud of them, but we're also in a lovely setting. We bought the property purely because it had established trees on it, and so we've been able to nestle the cottages in amongst lovely gums and various, and continue to add to the plantings around the cottages as well. Yes.
Just having a look and flicking through the guest book here, how does it feel when you're coming in to do a makeover on a room and you're reading some of these comments from your international guests?
They're lovely guest comments, and often we'll pick up on things that we take for granted, like particular trees or shrubs that are around the cottages, or of course the birds. Yes.
And Waverley House Cottages isn't just about the cottages. On the property, you've got swimming pools, barbecue sites, jacuzzis. Tell us about what else you can do on site.
As well as the cottages themselves, each having a spa bath or a two-person spa in them. There's the swimming pool with a covered barbecue area, so you can go and cook something out there and maybe mingle with other guests if you'd like to. Or there's the hot tub, which is over in the other section of the cottages, and that's kept at a nice 34 degrees, and so there is the bonus of being able to soak those aching bones, even if you've just been sitting in a car for a while. So they used a lot and most appreciated. So
beautiful destination. Yes. So George, as you can see, it's almost 10 years since I started with Sydney Melbourne Touring, and working with people like Jan, I just don't want to look at any other job. I just love this this drive along the coast. It really is a magnificent place. Jan, thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
And back to you, George.
Paul, you must pinch yourself working in such amazing regions like Gippsland.
Oh, I certainly do, George. I said in the video, you know, this May is actually 10 years since I started with Sydney Melbourne Touring, and to think that originally it was a 12-month contract with no guarantees after that. If I left, there'd be guarantees, that's for sure. But I enjoyed every much as the day I started. Every time I get on this road, whether it's the Heritage Drive or the Coastal Drive, it's a new adventure. It's fabulous.
It's fascinating. I'm just, you know, I mean, I haven't been to this area, to this region before, and it's like that movie. It had me at hello. It was just, it hit me hard. So it's fantastic. Now, I understand quite a few people are watching live.
Oh, it's been absolutely awesome. I've been checking out the chat room, and you know, Heidi in Belgium, and also Heidi in Germany as well, and Claire from London has tuned in today, and Inca from the Best of Travel group in Golden.
We all love Inca.
Not far from the Golden Bahnhof, and Inca will understand that more than anyone else. But here's a beautiful Pinot. Cheers to you. This one's from Lightfoot and Sons, Inca. So next time you're in Australia, we'll have to get one of those for you. But just fabulous. And I think, George, we've got our crew.
I know. I bet. Yeah, let's have a look. What are they doing?
There's our crew down at the fire pit. Look at that. Alison and Kim and Steve down there. Again, this is very typical of what you could do on a beautiful evening here in Gippsland. Sit around the fire pit, enjoy the pizzas, glass of wine. I mean, life doesn't get any better, George.
It doesn't get better than this. So. And now, Paul, you also have some great partnerships.
We certainly do, yeah, we certainly do. Now, you've met many of them today, but also with our corporate partners who really support Sydney Melbourne Touring year in and year out. That's Big Four Holiday Parks. You'll find them right across the Coastal Drive, quite a few along the Heritage Drive as well. The New South Wales Caravan and Camping Industry Association is quite a big association in New South Wales, and the South Coast chapter is their biggest membership, George. There's some 70 parks that are members numbers there. So for people that are in their Brits and Maui camper vans, and yes, THL is one of our great partners, there's so many different parks they can stay at, whether it's through the Caravan and Camping Industry Association or Big Four, one of the great holiday park brands, and also the Murray River Tourism Board. And we hope in the future, but depending on the feedback that we get from you, we hope in the future that we will do some live streams from the beautiful Murray River as well, George.
The Heritage Drive.
That's it.
Oh, love it. Now, next week, now we're almost wrapping up now. Next week, we are going live to
Wilson's Promontory National Park, and we can't wait for this, George. Now, we're only doing 3 live streams, so last week was Phillip Island, today is beautiful East Gippsland, then next week is Wilson's Promontory. Once we finish our live streams, we'll be desperate to look for feedback for, you know, all of the agents, all of the people that have tuned in. Get your ideas on, you know, what worked. Was it too long? Was it too short? What other parts of the region would you like to see? And then we'll start to schedule in more live streams based on the demand and what sort of locations along the Sydney Melbourne touring route that people would most like to see. But we can't wait for Wilson's Promontory next week, George.
Yes, and I got heads up that we'll be staying at the Wilderness Retreat. Woohoo, that's my favourite. So thank you very much, Paul. Thank you for Sydney Melbourne Touring. Thank you for Jetty Road Resorts for having us here. And thank you to all our guests, Alison, Kim, Paul, and, of course, all our accommodation. Hey, see you later, guys. We'll see you next time.
They're looking very relaxed down there at the fire pit. Yeah.
So don't forget, guys, make sure you put this in your itineraries. The Gippsland Lakes. Any more chats? No? Are we wrapping up?
Just to make sure no one's chatted. No, that's all right. It's gone dry.
It's all gone dry. That's okay. Well, then have a good time. I hope you enjoyed the show. It is live. We're not perfect, but we do talk about the real thing. So thank you, guys. We'll see you next time. We might even see some people at ATE in a couple of weeks. See
Love
you
you
soon.
long time. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.